I'm Jen Lee. This is Get Your Message Out. You did it. You got your message out. Now what? Before you move on, which you may be inclined to do, it's important to pause. Just pause right there and take a moment to celebrate. A lot of us can skip right past this part. If you're like me, it's because your mind has already been working on the next step or project for weeks on the side and is already looking 3 steps ahead. But it's really important to stop and celebrate your work, to celebrate this message that found its way to you, that found its way through you. And part of that celebration is also to take a moment for acknowledgement. And that acknowledgement might include measuring your outreach. How effective was it? Who did it touch? What outcomes came? There's something good to investigate, to learn from. And one part of that is just kind of like a part of strategy, right? We had a goal, we had aims, we invoked tactics, now we assess. But for our purposes, we really want to make sure that we acknowledge. We want to acknowledge the journey we've been on through the process. We want to acknowledge the skills we've built along the way. We want to acknowledge our partners and the way that they connected with us, lifted us up, shouted us out. The acknowledgement piece is really critical, and it's important that you don't skip past this because there's so much power in acknowledgement. It really creates new futures as we call out and look back and speak out what's happened. How have we grown? What has happened in this space? Those things feed a new vision of what's possible that we might miss if we circumnavigate right around this and just get right back to work. So, celebrate, acknowledge. The next part is rest and repeat. And I really encourage you to take that beat to rest. And I know we're working and operating, many of us inside a system of capitalism with a big focus on productivity. But guess what? Rest is a huge element of productivity. And I don't just mean rest like take a nap, although naps are magic and so is sleep. And get as much of that as you possibly healthily can. I'm also talking about taking space to refill your creative well that you have just been dipping out of and dipping out of and dipping out of. That means nourishing yourself with new sources of inspiration. And if you're a visual data communicator, that might mean really letting yourself have time to geek out on other visual data communicators whose work you admire, to see what else other people are up to collect inspiration. But in this way that isn't like, I'm throwing myself at it as the new task. Try to stay in a place of rest and just let the things you're drawn to naturally refill you. That even includes the things I'm drawn to do on my downtime on the weekend. What shows I'm drawn to watch, what puttering acts around my home. Rest. 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 And that is what you really need to replenish your creative stores so that when your rest is complete, you can then consider repeating and starting again with saying, what is it that I have to say next? And I just encourage you to hold yourself gently because this season, celebrate, acknowledge, rest, repeat. It may last longer than you wish it would. You may hope that you can just give that rest, good solid 24 hours and it'll be like out of here. Like a 24-hour flu, that kind of comes and goes. You just want to get on with it. But we really have to trust the instrument that we are, and we have to care for it and tend it. And this is your chance to really do that. You're going to honor the instrument that you are by celebrating what it's created. Acknowledge what it's shared with the world, or your ideal listener, or your 5 closest friends. You've acknowledged the instrument you are and honored it by resting, replenishing, restoring, by being someone who's curious about what allows the instrument you are to feel rest, replenished, and restored. And then you're honoring the instrument you are by giving yourself another opportunity to find another message and to get it out and share it again. Thanks so much for being in the inquiry with me and for being a recipient of this message from my heart to your hands.